Hello, welcome to another update, a ladder log update on the founder journey in building the Ladder of Growth company. So I know I've been quiet for a couple of weeks, and that's because I've had my head down behind the scenes doing some big work, right? So what's the big work? Well, part of, freeing up my time so I can focus on Ladder of Growth is making sure that I'm shifting and my other businesses into a fully automated state, or as much as I can, so I can free up my time. And so, as part of that, I've had to get some big projects out the way, which include getting two books written and published. So that's very exciting. So I've got my Betrayed by Your Biology book, which is now live, and the brilliant reviews are coming in. And this is all about reproductive anxiety disorder, otherwise known as tokophobia in women, which is something that I happen to be a global expert at, not through any intent, but because that was my journey. And I've been working with women on this for over a decade. So I have become an expert in this, and it was time that the world expert wrote a book, right? So I did. And that's called Betrayed by Your Biology, and it's out. Now, the thing is, when I was writing that book, I really wanted to also create the solution, because it's not necessarily the book that helps you get over it, but it helps you to understand it. And so I had this real urge within me to write a book on anxiety, but not just for those with reproductive anxiety disorder, but actually anybody with anxiety. So this is an accumulation of all my work with head trash. And I've been working with people, helping them on their anxiety, including reproductive anxiety disorder, for over 10 years. So I happen to be pretty intimate with the topic of anxiety, and specifically how to get rid of it for good. So I needed to get a book out to that effect. So the book Clear Your Anxiety for Good is currently with the editor, and that will be published before Christmas. So yeah, they required a lot of my focus, which meant that there wasn't a lot happening specifically on ladder, but there was in a kind of roundabout way. And that's what I want to talk about, is that one of the key aspects of the Ladder of Growth tool that we're building is it enables you to measure, manage, and track your personal growth journey and professional growth journey. So in previous videos, I've talked about how we've developed the therapist growth journey, and what it takes for a therapist to fully grow professionally, personally, in order to be the best therapist they can be, right? But on the personal growth journeys, we are also going to be creating an anxiety healing journey. And this is where all my anxiety work is going to come in. But also, we're going to do an ADHD journey, and other journeys, right, that matter to the person, that are personal. So the anxiety book was really part of a much bigger collaboration between the Head Trash brand and the Ladder of Growth brand. And so, but it needed a book at the center. It needed a book as part of that ecosystem. So from a Ladder of Growth perspective, this is what we've been doing, is really demonstrating to other personal development brands how you can use the Ladder of Growth to help you to make more money with your personal development brand. Because the thing about this personal development industry, as I've talked about before, is there's no real way for us to know if any of it's bloody working, right? With mindfulness, meditation, with loads of coaching and therapy, there's nothing really there that we can all agree on that is the metric that tells us whether or not the work that you're doing, the effort that you're putting in, the inner work that you're doing is actually working. Now, that's really easy if you're working with a sales coach, because you just have to check your bank account. But a lot of personal development work is not about finances. It's about how you feel, whether you feel more confident, whether you feel like you're able to be more visible, whether you don't feel torn up inside, whether your anxiety is gone. Like, these are things that need to be measured, so that those companies, those people, those brands, the people that are going through that know that it's working, that they are moving forward. And so this is where anxiety was our next focus with Ladder of Growth, but also naturally because of my focus with my Head Trash brand. So this is where Head Trash and Ladder of Growth have come together in a partnership. And the reason we're doing this as well for Ladder of Growth is to demonstrate what a brand partnership looks like when we contribute the Ladder of Growth, when we bring the Ladder of Growth model and wrap it around a branded ecosystem. So what's going on with Head Trash is we're using the Ladder of Growth. We've created an anxiety assessment tool that is intimately entwined with the Head Trash methodology. Now, the thing is, Head Trash clearance modality works incredibly well at getting rid of anxiety. So it's an ideal brand partnership in that respect. So what we've done is we've identified 10 core categories of anxiety, and we are assessing those people that do the assessment on each of those categories of anxiety. And then every category of anxiety is then mapped to how Head Trash Clearance and the Head Trash brand can help you move the needle on that particular category, and then also on the whole of your anxiety. So we have developed this anxiety assessment tool in partnership with Head Trash, and in reality, that means just I've been doing all of it because I'm both, right? But actually, I'm doing it with, as a result of all my work that I've been doing over a decade in working with this. But it's that kind of insight that Ladder will bring to other brands. And so we've developed a ladder of growth, these key categories in anxiety. We've got 2 assessments. We've got a free, a lead magnet, if you like, an assessment that's all going to go with the book. That means that somebody can just quickly find out what are their key anxiety drivers. So that gives them a little bit of a kickstart, a little bit of a focus for them to start addressing their anxiety in a meaningful way. But obviously, if they want the deep dive, they want to know exactly what's going on and exactly what to do, then the full assessment will provide that for them. Now, the part where the Head Trash collaboration comes in is obviously within the report or the output, the results that we provide to those that do the assessment, is that there's going to be key aspects within there that are provided by Head Trash. So, for example, one of the categories of anxiety is control. So within the Head Trash world, that means that this is how Head Trash will help you to deal with the control issues that you're facing, the control anxiety that you're facing. And this is exactly what you need to do. You need to go here. Here's a product that can do that. And the monetization that's behind that as far as Head Trash is concerned. So it's a win-win-win-win here, where you've got the win where the brand is enabled, is finding... We're creating a way for the brand to have a meaningful input to show, look, on this particular aspect of personal growth or professional growth, this is where you currently are. This is where you probably want to go if you want to grow and get better. And this is how you can do that using us as a brand. And so that's what we're doing. We're creating this brand partnership with Ladder of Growth and Head Trash. So yeah, the anxiety tool is part of that. So that's all appearing as part of the Head Trash ecosystem. Now, the game changer here, or what is really going to be useful, and this is me with my Head Trash hat on now, so any personal development brand is going to want to have a piece of this action, is when you can show your customers or your target customers, look, work with us. Come to us, because not only, we know our stuff works, but a lot of the time we can't really, can we really put our money where our mouth is, right? But having an assessment tool that is impartial in a lot of ways, because it's the Ladder of Growth assessment, but we're going to say, look, we can tell you, if you do this assessment with us, we'll tell you one where you are right now, and using our stuff where we can get you to and what that looks like. And then when you're there and you've done our stuff, you've used our stuff, you've used our course, you've used one of our coaches, you've done whatever the thing is that we provide, used our app, then come back and check in again in a month, in 6 weeks, in 6 months, whatever it is, to see how our stuff has worked on you. So that it's a way of the brand to demonstrate and to back themselves and say, look, we know our stuff works, and we're prepared to share that with you, be upfront and transparent, to say, look, we're going to measure our own performance with you. But for the great brands that do amazing work, that's fantastic, because that means that the customers now have got a higher level of trust. They're like, oh, right, no, these guys, these are serious, because they're going to let me measure whether or not they're working. And some brands might choose to say, oh, if you haven't shifted in a month, we'll give you a refund. That these are really compelling arguments for people to get to want to come into your brand world, is knowing that you have the wherewithal to say, look, we know our stuff works, and we're prepared to share that and demonstrate that to you as a brand owner, so that you have full confidence in whatever we offer in our product, our service, as a customer. And I think that's going to be fantastic. So this is what we're building with Head Trash and Ladder, is to put this in place so that anybody else can come and have a look and see what that looks like, so that we can start replicating this with other brands that are interested in having this kind of setup for them. Now, there are two ways that we're using ladder of growth right now for head trash. On the one hand, we've got a bespoke ladder that we've created for head trash. So this is going to be acting as one of the main lead magnets or opt-ins on the ladder homepage, on the head trash homepage. And so we've crafted a ladder specifically around the head trash brand, and every one of those categories that have been mapped as part of that growth journey are tied to specific ways that head trash support people on their healing journey. So this is a bespoke ladder of growth journey that we've developed just for head trash, and they will have exclusive use of that ladder of growth journey. The anxiety funnel, the anxiety assessment. Now, that is a generic assessment, but what we're able to do is we've created a branded version of that so that head trash can use an already existing journey and head trashify it, right? That anxiety assessment will also live within the ladder of growth ecosystem, but there's a head trash version of it that sits within the head trash ecosystem. So this means that any other brand, personal development brand, can either have their own ladder of growth journey developed for them that is exclusive for them, and that we will help them to develop it. We will develop all of that for them. We'll have sessions. We've already started trialing this with other people where we've sat down with them, understand what is the development journey that you help people on is, and that's an important journey to understand from a marketing perspective. And this is where a lot of my marketing background comes in, because I'm very clued in to thinking about what is that journey that you are supporting people on. Why do they want to come with you? What is it, the thing that you're helping them with? So we're going to take all that on board and wrap the ladder of growth model around it so that we can align your business growth journey with the growth journey that those individuals do when they interact with your brand. And that enables us to create your own ladder of growth journey that's exclusive to you. But equally, it means that if there's one that we already have, then you can have your own branded version of a current ladder of growth journey. So we're really excited about this, because I think this could be really, it enables personal development brands to really demonstrate what they are brilliant at, and to have some metrics around that, like business head on metrics. Meaningful metrics are everything. And at a time where we're being eviscerated by AI, and that's a huge threat to a lot of businesses and brands and individuals in terms of their jobs, having a way that is deeply human, but also measures and demonstrates the impact of your work, I think is essential for where we are currently in the ever-changing world that just seems to be like changing week by week right now. So that's what's going on right now in the ladder of growth journey. It's very exciting. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and very, very soon we'll be able to share these anxiety assessments with you and the therapist growth assessment, so that you can now start measuring, managing, and tracking your own personal and professional growth. Okay, that's it from me. See you next time. Bye.